my belief, what I think of them is I think they are the lifeblood of the company and the culture. Hello and welcome. My name is Gino Barbaro, one of the co-founders of Jake and Gino. And in this how-to lesson, we're going to be discussing how to create a cadence of accountability for your multifamily properties. I mean, this is really not only just for multifamily, this is for any business. Now, I want to ask you a couple of questions before I start, because this is really important. Have you ever felt like, as a business owner, as a property investor, you're running around like a chicken without a head? Have you ever felt like you're putting out fires daily? I mean, every day there's something going on. It seems like there's something urgent that you have to attend to all the time. And you're running, put out this fire. This fire goes out, then you've got another fire. Have you ever felt overwhelmed? If you haven't, and you're in business, man, then you must be doing the right thing. Because when I had my business, especially my restaurant business, that was not my life. And I made a ton of mistakes. And in this how-to, we're going to talk about discipline, planning, creating what that cadence of accountability looks like, so you don't have to constantly be putting out fires, running around headless. You can't build a business and you can't build something of value if that's what your day-to-day looks like. You're not going to want to have that business. You're going to burn out. You're going to become the mom and pop. For over 20 years, I had one restaurant. And when I partnered with Jake in 2013, within 5 years, we owned over 1,000 units. What was the difference? 1 for 20, 1,000 units for 5. I'm going to go over that right now. And I want you to implement this in your business, because this to me was revolutionary. There's a couple of things we did before we get into the cadence of accountabilities, which was truly, for me, life-changing. And it made me a much better leader. It made me understand why I was in business. I didn't have right now, first of all, what a mission statement was. I didn't have the clarity. I didn't have a big, hairy, audacious goal. All I was there was transactions. Just go to pay the bills. Just worry about getting paid every single week, not giving a vision to my employees or to myself. Just going there, not making it vital for them, not letting them understand what I was trying to accomplish. All I was trying to do is trying to get paid every week. I wasn't building anything. But more importantly than that is I had no core values. What core values are to a business, in my belief, what I think of them, is I think they are the lifeblood of the core of the company and the culture. You're trying to build a culture within the organization. You're trying to build a vision within the organization. You want your employees to be bought into what you're doing. I didn't have that at the restaurant. Every time there was something wrong, I was blaming the employees. It's their fault. When in reality, the mirror should have been put up and I should have been looking in that mirror and I should have been saying, it's me, I'm the problem, not the employees. They have no direction. They have no guidance. They have no expectations. They don't know why they're here other than just to collect a paycheck. If that's all it is, they can go anywhere else. Someone else offers them more money, they're gone. But what we realized with the Jake and Gino and with Rand Property Management and the businesses that we built in real estate, we've really been trying to build upon the core values. So I would go out there. The first thing I would say to you, if you don't have core values for your business, and it doesn't matter whether you're just starting out or whether you have 15,000 units, all of us should have core values, either for our businesses and or for our lives. Because all the decisions that we make, you're making these decisions unconsciously through the values that you've created throughout your life. So for Jake and Gino and Rand, growth mindset, people first, make it happen, unwavering ethics, and extreme ownership. That is our core values. That's where you need to start with your business. Remember, it's all about building that foundation. If you build a strong foundation, you can build upwards. And then on top of that, let's start layering in this next part of what a cadence of accountability is. We call it really the foundation set. It's people, it's systems, and it's culture. Those are the three things. On this how-to right now, we're going to be focusing on the systems. And the cadence of accountability goes as such. This is what we like to use. We need to have quarterly meetings. And I think most individuals, I think most companies should have quarterly meetings. Now, you may be saying to yourself, I'm by myself, or I've got a partner. Even better, you need to be on the same page as far as quarterly goals. And I know you're listening to this right now. You're out there crushing it. You're making it happen. You are doing 15,000 different things and you may feel overwhelmed. But what's really important is once you figure that out, you cannot overwhelm yourself. You cannot say to yourself, wow, I've got to accomplish all this stuff. And more importantly, you can't do that to your employees. That's what Jake and I did early on. And that's what I think I did at the restaurant. I would put on all these objectives and all these goals, and once again, running around with a chicken without a head. So when you have these quarterly meetings, what you're doing with these quarterly meetings is you are setting up priorities. Every quarter, don't pick too many. If you're just starting out, maybe you have 2 or 3. Us on average, we pick between 5 and 8 quarterly priorities that are going to drive the business, that are going to drive revenue, that are going to drive our vision. Select 5 to 8. A priority is anything that takes more than 8 hours. Building a website, creating a sales funnel, putting together an event, due diligence on properties, underwriting 2 deals a week, whatever that looks like, whatever the priority is, it's more than 8 hours. During that meeting, you're going to be creating tasks from those priorities, which is really important. The tasks are breaking down the priority. And what we do, once we have that all done, we have one person that's held accountable. Because if you have John and Mary that are heading it up, no one's accountable. But if you put John in place and say, John, you are heading this, you need Mary's help, but John's going to be reporting to it, that's the person that's held accountable. Now that you've had the quarterly huddles and you've done your first quarter, the next thing that I would institute would be weekly huddles with your executive team. Every week, you're going to be going over the quarterly priorities. What have you done? How have you moved the needle to those quarterly priorities? And in our weekly doc, our weekly huddle, we have in our weekly huddle our KPIs, our key performance indicators. We talk about in multifamily specifically on our KPI doc. If we're taking over a property, we want to know how many units of that property have been turned, how many are on our leases. That's important. We also go over economic occupancy. We go over physical occupancy. We go over collections. We go over what collections are today and what we want them to be 6 months from now. And we go over various other details within the organization, such as net promoter scores. We have NPSs and EMPSs in our property management company. So those are what we're doing with our weekly huddle. Once a week, we are huddling with our executive team, and we're going over every facet of that business. And what's really cool about it, you'll see every week going through those priorities. Hey, we're working on the website, for instance. We've got another 3 hours or three more tasks left to go. And once you see it in front of you, that's what's cool about it, because you're holding yourself accountable every week to it. Now, from that weekly huddle, what we also do is what we call, as Gino Wickman says in his book, Traction, our L10 meetings, our level 10 meetings. In property management, what I would do is if you have third party or you have property managers for every office that you have weekly level 10 meetings with them. They could be 30 minutes. They could be an hour long. What you're doing on these level 10 meetings is you're going over the quarterly priorities if they pertain to that property. Then you're going over the monthly to-dos and the weekly to-dos. And oh, by the way, if you've got an idea for that property and you don't want to ping that property manager all the time and bother them, put it in the parking lot, what we call at the end of the dock. So when you go on your level 10 meeting, you can discuss it. That's one way to stop putting out fires. If you have something, stop texting everybody all the time. Create a note doc. Put it on there so when you do have your meeting, you have, oh, wow, I have notes on this meeting and I know what to go over. But that level 10 meeting is really going to go over the weekly to-dos. That week, you maybe have high delinquencies. Well, let's tackle delinquencies. You may be having a lot of guest cards, people coming in and actually going in and looking at your properties, but you're not converting them. Well, do we need to have sales trainings for the property managers? Stuff that goes on in those weekly L10 meetings is so crucial to the business. Pick a time and a day and have them recurring every single week. And I would challenge all of you that have third-party property management, please use these L10 meetings for your property management company. Because what you're doing in essence here, you're not being reactive, you are being proactive. What good is it on day 30 to know that you've got $5,000 in delinquencies, when if you'd known on day 12 that you could be sending out late notices and maybe pre-eviction filings to collect some of those evictions? That's the whole idea with these weekly meetings. And don't tell me you're too busy. The discipline that you will implement in this is so crucial, because once you implement it, it's weekly. You're training your people to get on every week, to be problem solvers. And what's great about it is you're on this meeting as the leader. You want them to come up with solutions. You're empowering them on these meetings. They are the boots in the ground. They're seeing what's going on. They're reporting back to you. You're the ultimate decision maker, but you want their input. Their input is crucial. So you've got the weekly level 10 meetings. And then from there, we do daily huddles every morning. You may be saying to yourself, Gino, there's so many meetings going on. Yes and no. These meetings don't need to take hours. Our daily huddle, we have 7 members on our daily huddle with the Jake and Gino team. It literally takes 10 minutes. We all huddle at 8:45 in the morning. We talk about the wins from the day before. We talk about our daily targets. We talk about any challenges or any stuck points. So during the day, I don't have to ping one of my employees and say, what are we doing today? What are you doing today? We talk about it in the morning. We share what's going on within the organization. Communication flows freely through the organization. Every day you're getting on these daily huddles. And I think the last one is if you like an end of day email or an end of day huddle. During COVID, I remember during the early parts of COVID, we were doing end of days. It was challenging. People needed reassurance. They needed to hear us on these weekly, these daily end of days at the end of Zoom. At the end of days, we get on Zoom and just talk to them because it was a challenging time. That may be overkill for you. It may not. But I like to see at the end of the day from certain employees, what did they accomplish? What was done? What emails were done? What calls were you partaking in? What projects did you work on? Those are also really cool touch points. It keeps the employee engaged and it lets you know as the employer what got done and what fell through the cracks. So let me recap this because this is important. I would start out with the quarterly planning. Then from the quarterly planning, you get your weekly huddles with your executive team. It may be just you and your partner starting out. As they get bigger, you want the heads of every department. From the weekly huddle, you have your weekly level 10 meeting. And then from the weekly level 10 meetings, you have your daily huddles and then possibly your end of days. That's how I was able to scale a portfolio from that 25 unit little property that we did to over 1,000 units in less than 5 years. If we didn't have these systems and these implementations, we would have driven ourselves nuts. We would have been the I'm a man, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I would have gotten burned out. At one point, we would not have been able to continue to grow. And that's what you want within the organization. You want to be able to empower your employees. You want to be able to give them vision and purpose through your core values. And you want to implement these systems with this cadence of accountability to be able to take control of your business and understand what's going on. Down below in the comment section, I'd love to hear if you're employing a cadence of accountability and what else are you employing in your business for systems to hold yourself accountable as well as your teammates. I want to thank you for spending part of your day with me on this important and crucial how to create your cadence of accountability for your multifamilies. And I will see you on next week's how to. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to like and subscribe so you'll never miss another episode.